Can you hear me?
Hey, hello. Yes, I can hear you very well.
Please tell us what it takes to be a super citizen.
Oh,
Why we need them?
why do we need them? Yeah, it's a nice title. I have to confess, we put together for this conference with you. And why do we need them? Indeed, as you said, there are some changes in my career. So after a lot of years in the government and colleague with Veronica, an open government partnership, also an envoy there. We started a new company together with Lucian that you mentioned called Happy Cities. And now, following the EXO World Conference, we somehow were very connected to this movement with Salim Ismail from quite a while. But we changed, and now we are part of the EXO world as EXO Cities. So Happy Cities is part of the EXO Cities, but right now it's a bigger challenge for us not to act only locally and also on some small projects, but on a bigger scale and bigger projects. So it's a change. It's challenging, to be very honest, and I'm very happy that that happened. In a nutshell, I don't know. For further introduction, probably you can recommend our website exo.world, exocities.world, and yeah, let's start from here. What do you recommend?
And if you have some slides, maybe you can share them.
Yeah, I can share with you some slides. I don't know if it's working or not. Just tell me, because yeah. So why we need super citizens? As I told you, we build an EXO Cities, the company that I co-founded. We build digital platforms and mobile applications for to empower citizens, communities, local authorities to think, communicate, and act collectively. We stress very much on this for the benefit of citizens. Our aim is to become the global transformation ecosystem of collaborative intelligence and innovation for a meaningful life in cities. And our purpose, let's say, is to help cities and mayors run a better world. So our focus is beyond just doing some things in the cities, but to be a real help of city transformation with the help of technology. But let's leave this commercial side apart, if you want. And we started with a very simple question. Why citizens? Before we talk about why do we need super citizens, what do we need citizens for? And let me start with one observation. Working quite a long time with communities, with citizen engagement, not only part of the OGP, but also part of the Happy Cities and so on. We found out that typically, the citizen can be divided in three main categories based on their engagement. So there's a big chance you and the audience today can fit in one of these types. So first of all, you have like super engaged citizens, constantly have civic initiatives, act on them. Present all the time, builds communities, and so on. And I believe many of the audience today is in this category. Also, we have people that are in search of initiatives. I don't know, looking for something cool, looking for something appealing. And they would get involved, but they didn't find that purpose that to move them. Also, the third category, you are just curious about certain things, but yeah, I'm looking for people to do things, but I'm not getting into action yet. So here at ExoCities, we believe very much that any of this type can become a super citizen. But what do you need to become a super citizen, as you ask? What are the triggers that are necessary to have these superpowers? And we started to learn. You will laugh probably, and following Ken on on his speech on sci-fi, we start learning watching super movies with superheroes movies. Sorry. So we start watching these movies. I know it's probably funny, but what we found it's why we need these movies. We need these movies because somehow you need a reassurance that no matter the problem, how hard it is, and whatever the problem is, there is somebody with superpowers that will solve it. So somehow in a collective, mental collective, and people's mind is this idea that somehow there is a superhero that will solve everything at the moment. But we also build on this idea. Okay, we want to start looking at real data because we are a data company after all, and we're looking at insights and a lot of data on this, and what motivates and demotivates people to get engaged on their initiatives. When developing our app that I mentioned before, Happy Cities app, we realized that there are very few simple steps that are needed. And these are around 3 components: data, trust, and purpose. So very, very briefly and very simple, we ask a simple question in our app. Very simple, as a to be that trigger that changes everything. How many hours would you like to dedicate to your community in a week? So it's a simple line, it's a simple question. How many hours would you like to share with your community, to help the community? And we found out that there are people which I don't know, sharing like 2 hours per week, or 8 hours per week, or 10 hours per week. And I encourage you, all the viewers today, just to do this mental exercise. How many hours would you like to spend to block in your agenda for your community? So people are just mentioning that, okay, I will put like 2 hours per week helping others or making things better, and I don't know, whenever action there are planned. But this is when the magic happen, and the magic happen when you show everybody, that 2 hours from their perspective, or 8 hours, added with other people that are around, suddenly it's not about how can I help a lot of problems in my community with 1 hour. Yeah, no, but you see that are hundreds of people or thousands of people that are ready to help with 20,000 hours. So it's a mind-blowing exercise, and we encourage you to do in your community, and starting from this question. But when you put transparently to the people how much time, and you realize how much time that are available at the community level for actions for community, there is a game changer for the dialogue with the mayor, for the dialogue with the city, and for the trust you got in your community. So it's like coming back to those movies. It's like the first, you remember in the movies that moment when the superhero realized that he has a superpower. That's the same here. That's the same here when you realize that your 2 hours combined with all the others can make a huge change in your community. And as you said, we are very big fans of superhero movies, but just think of this simple mechanism. Why engage citizens? Because it's the next step. Okay, I'm willing to change, or I'm making change, and I'm putting some hours. But why do we need? What's the purpose for this? And let's have a look at the cities now. And following Veronica's recommendation to speak about the cities a little bit, what we saw, and I believe it's a very good moment to speak about this now. During this crisis of coronavirus crisis and so on, because what we saw, and what the pandemic showed us, is the limit of public management. To be honest, you see that cities are at the limit of intervention in terms of crisis, and you realize that one team, no matter how big is it or how skilled they are in the city hall, cannot solve all the problems in the city. And one size military response that we usually do to a social problem needs to transform into something else. In this madness, this is the nice part, and you are part of it. I mean, every one of you are part of this experience, if you want. Are also seeing a lot of examples of collaboration. I don't know, real-time application built by IT community. Citizens helping the elders to find food and so on. You name it. I have favorite examples like open data used in Taiwan and Singapore to solve the problems. Just cities and government putting transparently the data for the community to build application. Small businesses working together, many times free of charge for the community. They just help the community. So and this empathy that you felt around that it exists when a crisis came. So on one hand, you see the government or the cities that are somehow blocked in this military mindset that you need to stay home and so on. And you see a lot of people helping each other in a virtual way, and using technology or going there. So what we saw is no, there's no Superman or Wonder Woman coming to save this, but thousands of people did. Thousands of superheroes did it on the ground. So it's not a better time to look at it this way. So people want to help people. This is what the crisis show us. People want understand when your neighbor is in need, and you need to act. So when they do it, they make a huge impact. In the aftermath of health crisis, I believe cities will be forced to learn that they can no longer develop or implement solutions without citizen engagement. I don't think there will be, at least if it's a lesson to be learned, this is the lesson to be learned. You cannot do it in a 10% military style group that will organize everything. It's needed, of course, in the crisis period, but without citizen engagement, you cannot find solutions for a longer term. Trust is a two-way street. This is what we constantly say, because in these critical times, government asks everyone to trust the governments. Just trust us, that we're going to do something. but it needs to be mutual. So it needs that the city and governments trust their citizens also. And I saw this beautiful example, and probably will have the time to talk over the questions, how Sweden did it in terms of trusting their citizens that they will listen and act responsibly. It's a beautiful example. So in the post-COVID-19 era, I believe the economical impact that will follow will force cities to reconsider this relation. Cities are closer to their citizens. Cities are and they will realize very soon how important is this to this survival, not only to this working or something like this. It's needed for them, their survival. In the harsh economical times, in a pandemic time and health crisis, this connection needs to be tougher. And this is what we promote at Exo Cities. Also, we saw that pandemic showed that there's a high level of cohesion among them, and not just because of COVID-19, but mayors need to use this force and motivation to run their cities better, to help with the cities. Mayors should empower and help their citizens to become super citizens, if you want. At Exo Cities, what we do to help this, because I mentioned that we help mayors and cities to run a better world, and there's no better time to do it, to be honest. And I'm very happy that we are doing this with a lot of cities around the world. But how we can help? We unlock the data and open the data. It's a very simple mechanism. We engage the citizens and connect them to the global innovation. These are the ingredients that help cities make a better world. Helping them using the local superpowers given by their citizen engagement to solve the problems they face, and also to work collaboratively with others to innovate. So it's this component is very important. So look at the data, understand what's happening, engage citizens, innovate with them. This is the very simple line we are doing. And with your permission, I will go through a project that we started, and we started very seriously to think the Super Citizen Project. We can transform cities and change the world, but the idea was, how can you, okay, in the city, let's say we have this city, ideal city, that everything goes smoothly and so on. But how can you make it exponentially? How can you make it with a bigger impact in the country, in the area, and or around the world? So we started this Super Citizen project with also a very simple idea, if you want. How about finding 1,000 citizens super citizens, if you want, in your city? Can we find 1,000 people that are super engaged, ready to act, and so on? And what if these 1,000 people will expose them to the highest innovation around the world? And I can give you thousands of examples from EXO world. So how if we expose them to innovation and see it's possible around the world? And what if, coming back to their cities, they will develop their own ideas on their context and make a real transformation? So this is how we started with our Super Citizen project, and we ended like this. If we found 1,000 super citizens in 1,000 cities, we will have 1 million solutions for the cities in the world, coming from the city, from their citizens, coming from the innovation of that very local ground. So It sounds crazy, probably, no? It could be, but I think it's not. I think it's doable, and I think it's something that moves us and moves us very much to work. And also, and to end with this, the recent history has shown us that through collaborative action, we can generate ideas and real solutions. And maybe it's the first time in history when citizens can really make a change and have a honest and fruitful relationship with the local authorities. I believe it's the high time to doing this. Let's not waste this moment. It's my point, and let's use our super citizens' power to do it. And let's make this step together with you. Ready for action? Join us.
I'm ready. I am ready. Thank you very much, Radu, for this presentation. Actually, I was speaking earlier to Salim. He wrote me, and he said that he's doing a follow-up event on May 12th.
On May 12th.
Yes, the Exo World Live Now event.
Exactly.
So the ones who are interested in an event, please write to me or write to Radu, and we might give you also a special discount. Right? I think there is a 20% discount or something like that.
Yeah. But what is important to know, and it's a real atmosphere of change that is there. So I highly recommend for people to join that, because it's somehow you just break up with your usual day and are exposed to wonderful ideas and wonderful examples of transformation around the world. And this is what we plan to do with our Super Citizen project. Just expose the people to that expertise, to that innovation, and come back to their city and say, wow, this is going great. I can use that example from, I don't know, Colombia, or from Greece, from Mexico, or from Thailand. And I saw crazy guys in Jakarta doing a lot of stuff with motorbikes, electric motorbikes, to deliver everything and so on. It's an idea coming. Let's see what we get. Not only the idea, but you have access to those people and say, hey, people, come here and let's try to do this together. So this is amazing, really amazing, and I encourage you to do it.
Also, this is how I met Diana Stafie and Ken Merkel and our next speaker, Simon. So you see, it's a wonderful networking.
It's a big world family.
Yeah. Also, we had a video chat with the Salim's family, actually, Lily and his kid. Yeah, I truly recommend it. And I also think it's totally possible. It's not a crazy idea, the 1,000 super citizens.
I'm happy.
Actually, I think that for smaller countries like Moldova, it can actually be 300. And this is one of my credo. And it's inspired by the 300
Okay. Okay.
I think with the 300 people that are installed in the right positions, you can totally radically transform Moldova, for example, and you can kickstart it and can be a rocket jump, maybe not at the level of Singapore, but closer to Estonia.
I believe it's a process anyway, but I learned a lot from this, and one super engaged citizen can make a huge transformation in their community. So
I truly agree.
We saw this in this crisis, a lot of examples of people just forgetting about what they are doing and delivering food to the elder people. It's a simple gesture, but it did a lot for those people. So having these examples and working together with the cities, I believe, is the secret from now on. And probably in the next couple of years, we'll see the cities ranking through this citizen engagement or not.
Thank you very much, Radu.
You're more than welcome. I thank you for the opportunity. Really, really a pleasure being here.
I hope we reconnect for future DCN events.
Anytime, a pleasure. Thank you very much, Otto. Thank you very much.
Have a nice weekend.